Shown at the beginning of the film, we see a young woman named Mathy. Her marriage was arranged with a young man she loved, named Sharon. Mathy works as a sales manager at Decathlon. One day, Sindhu, a staff member there, cries and tells Mathy that her ex-boyfriend is harassing her. Mathy consoles the girl and gives her courage. However, Sindhu's thug ex-boyfriend, Prabhu, arrives and abuses her, screaming many things like, "She slept with me." Seeing this, Mathy goes to him, scolds and warns him and sends him away. At night, Sindhu gets scared seeing Prabhu waiting outside the shop. Because of her fear, Mathy had to drop Sindhu home that day. With Mathy's confidence boost, Sindhu moves forward with a marriage proposal she received. Sindhu tells Mathy that the wedding is in Kodaikanal and that she must come. Around this time, Mathy happens to see a staff member named Raju and his friend stealing banians from the shop. Mathy asks Raju to return the banians and tells him to resign from the shop. Raju cries and pleads, saying his family will starve, but Mathy insists, "I won't report this to the police, but you must resign." As Sindhu's wedding day approaches, her ex-boyfriend Prabhu's sadness increases. Prabhu weeps, saying, "I tried to follow Sindhu and reconcile with her, but it was impossible because of Mathy, and that, Mathy humiliated me in front of people." Hearing his sadness, his friends suggest they harm Mathy and say, "Let's go to Sindhu's wedding house." Unaware of any of this, Mathy arrives in Kodaikanal to attend Sindhu's wedding. She went to the wedding alone. Raju, whom she had fired, had also arrived there to attend the same wedding. Due to his resentment towards Mathy, Raju didn't talk to her that day. After the wedding, Mathy is wandering around Kodaikanal to see the sights. Unfortunately, at this time, her mobile phone's battery dies. Later, she goes to a hill there to watch the sunset. After a while, however, 3 men abduct her from there. The group of 3 knocked her unconscious and took her into a nearby forest. Mathy is missing for a long time. She can't be reached on the phone. So the bus she had booked leaves Kodaikanal. At this time, Mathy wakes up in the forest, half naked after being brutally assaulted. She finds her pants nearby. Enduring severe pain, she moves a great distance through the forest and finally reaches a road. At this time, a motorcyclist passes by. Fearing him as well, because her 3 assaulters had worn helmets, she hides. Just then, a police jeep speeds by, but Mathy doesn't make a sound, fearing the motorcyclist. After the motorcyclist urinates there, he leaves with his bike. Mathy then moves forward again. She reaches a villager and asks him for help. She tells him she needs to go to a hospital. The man puts her in a vehicle that's going to the town with supplies. When she arrives in town, she goes to a clinic and tells the lady doctor there about the tragedy that happened to her. At this time, Mathy was experiencing unbearable pain in her lower abdomen. The lady doctor sadly informs Mathy, "I can't handle a case like this, a gynecologist needs to examine this. She's not here right now, and I'm helpless." So Mathy asks the doctor for the police station's location and heads there. At this moment, the police officers are busy as the police station is being moved to another building. When she meets the sub-inspector SI and describes the events, he promises her all kinds of support. Mathy tells the SI that the culprits were wearing helmets. The police then start an investigation to catch the suspects. At this time, Mathy gives a statement to the police about Raju, who was at the wedding. She also reveals to the police the reason for his animosity towards her. The police bring 3 young men who were seen in a suspicious situation to the station. After questioning them, the police realize they are young men who steal bikes. At this moment, Mathy remembers that Prabhu, Sindhu's ex-boyfriend, was following her. She immediately informs the SI. The police immediately start a search and find Prabhu, who was about to leave the area. "I don't know anything. I was following Mathy to find Sindhu's house. My only intention was to give Sindhu a gift," was the statement Prabhu gave to the police. By this time, the police had also caught Raju. He was also not involved in this incident. However, at this moment, Mathy tells the SI, "The ones who raped me are not these people. The ones who scared me seem to be between 45 and 90 years old." Hearing this, the SI tells Mathy that changing her statement frequently will affect the investigation. Moreover, from then on the cis way of talking changes. He tells Mathy that he knows of some families who have committed suicide after going ahead with such cases. It is at this time that Mathy notices the wart on the cis neck. Mathy remembers that one of her attackers also had a similar wart on his neck. With fear, Mathy realizes that one of the men who tried to rape her is the SI himself. Soon, she identifies the second person from the ring he was wearing. She recognizes the third person by the sound of the hands packet the policeman was using. She had heard the sound of this packet when they were raping her. She also happens to see the helmets the three of them were wearing in the police vehicle. After leaving the station, she asks a constable there if there are any other senior officers. The constable replies, "SP Madam has gone out." The SI learns this from the constable. Fearing that she might have recognized them, the SI calls Matthew back as she is about to leave. He asks questions in a very malicious manner, telling her not to go ahead with the case and that this would be the state of affairs if she does. However, at this time, the SP coincidentally arrives. The three policemen, including the SI who committed the crime, try to keep Matthew away from the SP. The SP who was about to leave, returns to the station after her vehicle gets a flat tire. Seeing the policemen who were about to send Matthew away from the station, the SP asks her to come into her cabin. So Matthew explains everything to the SP. The SP then secretly monitors the three policemen. From their behavior, the SP becomes convinced that the three have committed the crime. The SP instructs Matthew, "After tomorrow's investigation, I will catch the culprits with proof myself. Until then don't leave the station." However, from the SP's conversation, the SI understands that Matthew has told her everything. So, after the SP leaves, the SI and his accomplices send away all the accused in the station, and give other duties to the policemen present, sending them out of the station. Realizing that they are planning to attack her, Matthew tries to run away, but the three of them catch her. Afterward, the three of them take off her clothes and record a video of her naked on their mobile phones. They then blackmail Matthew with it. Helpless, Matthew returns home from the station. The next day, the same SI was chosen as the best policeman at the station's inauguration ceremony, and awarded medals. Even at this time, Matthew was still in a state of shock from the terrifying incident. The young man, Sharon, to whom she was engaged, was with her, giving her all his support. In those nights, the shocking memories of the brutal incident continued to haunt her. She recalls the problems she had to face since childhood because she was born a girl. Matthew's mother had died when she was a child. Later, Matthew makes a firm decision to bring those who did this to her before the law. Afterward, she and Sharon go to see a famous lawyer. In his presence, they file a complaint with a senior officer. The police officer immediately calls the Kodaikanal SP on the phone, and instructs him to investigate the incident as soon as possible. The SP replies that she is aware of this and that the incident was not investigated, because the girl did not file a complaint. So the SP calls the SI and asks him to come to the station. At this time, the SI was at his sister's child's wedding ceremony. Realizing the danger, the SI calls his accomplices and goes to the crime scene to destroy the evidence. When he tries to get Sharon to withdraw the complaint by calling him, and he refuses, the SI sends Matthew's nude video to his mobile phone. Later, the three of them go to the scene and destroy all the evidence there. Fortunately, at this time, the SP and the investigating team arrive there. The SP and her team catch the three of them red-handed. The incident received a lot of media attention. With this, the evil SI adds a fake audio clip to the video of Matthew he had and uploads it to the internet. He did this vile act with the help of a computer cafe employee. The whole world sees Matthew's nude video. The fake audio was added to the video to make it seem as if Matthew willingly participated. Matthew is humiliated in front of society, and many people call her to inquire about the matter. It is then that Matthew realizes the fake audio clip in the video. The lawyer suggests a settlement as he is sure they will lose the case, but the SI does not agree. Later, the SI tries to kill Matthew by having her hit by a vehicle through a thug he knows. By this time, many people, from the children of the house owner in America, had seen Matthew's video. The house owner informs Matthew that many people are coming to her house to inquire. That night, the thugs sent by the SI try to kill Matthew. Fortunately, a young man who was driving a bike while drunk jumps in front of the thug's truck, and Matthew escapes by a hair's breadth. However, Sharon, who was with her, realizes that this was a murder attempt. With no other option, the SI later calls Sharon for a settlement through a senior officer. But Sharon slaps the cruel SI and walks away. Even though his family members ask Sharon to back out of the relationship, he is not ready to leave Matthew. Despite all the insults, Matthew sticks to the case. So the case goes to court. Matthew tells the court all the painful events that had happened to her. Everything becomes clear to the court. They had threatened her by showing her naked body. But I decided to use my body as a weapon and fight them, Matthew tells the court. The court assures Matthew that the accused will get the right punishment. With this incident, Matthew becomes famous. A few months later, she marries Sharon. She is now happy, Matthew is now a motivator. She bravely says that rape is not the victim's fault, that the victim should not be sad, and that the victim should never feel that their life is over. The film ends with this scene.